What's going on, guys? JPP Duel here. Hope you guys are enjoying your Friday. And before the game begins, let me tell you there's only going to be one video upload for today, but it's going to be an amazing prankkids versus skystriker grindy matchup that had its moments back and forth. And with that being said, let's get on with the gameplay. Now, if you guys look at my starting hand, my hand is pretty much a dead hand with only the Fusion Destiny being somewhat of a usable card. But if my opponent Ash Blossoms my Fusion Destiny, pretty much turn over. Thankfully, no Ash Blossom, only backseat. So he's gonna draw one card, which I was okay with. But at least that way, we'll have something on the field to pop and maybe disrupt our opponent's combo. So DPE and defense to play around Lightning Storm, set down Panda, end my turn. Now let me explain why I set down my Pandemonium. Let's say our opponent has something that forces our DPE, negates our DPE, bounces our DPE, sends our DPE to the graveyard, or banishes our DPE, and I chainlink the activation of DPE to it, or maybe my opponent chains a bounce to my DPE's activation. My DPE would still be able to go through because, again, DPE is a non-targeted effect. That means it does not target a card, it goes in the chain resolution. So that way, if I have one card set on the field, I would be able to pop that card to pop my opponent's card, even if my DPE is off of the field. So that's the reason for the Panda set, in case my opponent has a play like that. So let's keep going. Opponent's main phase, he's going to normal out a Rose. So now I know he's playing Sky Strikers. Since he used up his normal summon, in my head I'm thinking, why not just pop his normal summon? He has no way probably to special out anything anymore. So I used my DPE to try to pop the Rose. Sadly, he had Forbidden Droplet, which he uses. This card's multi-roll. I don't know why he did it this way, because multi-roll is a card that recycles their spell cards over and over. Maybe he did not have spell cards in his hand, or maybe he had cards in his hand that he deemed to be more important than the multi-roll. So he sends multi-roll to the graveyard, negates DPE, goes into the Hayate. Hayate sends a Ray to the graveyard, which was pretty new to me because usually it's the engage that you send to the graveyard. He sent Ray, so that way, in case I kill off his Shizuku that he goes into, he would be able to get Ray on the field. Now he goes into his own DPE, pops his DPE to pop my back row set, which was the Pandemonium. Big mistake. Look at my hand. What do we have in our hand? We have Ghost Bell. He activates DPE in the graveyard. I chainlink my Ghost Bell to DPE, so that way it negates the DPE. No more DPE. It resolved. That is gone. Bye-bye to my opponent's DPE. My opponent ends his turn. Activate Shizuku, searches for engage. My DPE pops itself. I activate from the graveyard. He had no Call by the Grave or Ghost Bell of his own, so we are good to go. My DPE comes back on the field in attack position, and I did draw into a combo starter card, which was my prankkids plays. But then again, if my opponent has an Ash Blossom for this, our play is still dead. I was really hoping for him to not have Ash Blossom, but game is like, nope, not today. I'll give your opponent the Ash Blossom. So he had the Ash Blossom, negates my Prankkids play search. That means no combo for us. I go into battle phase, kill off the Shizuku. He gets Ray on the field. Now I activate DPE right here. I know Ray has the quick effect of Tribute, but as I said, DPE is non-targeted. That means if he activates Ray in response to my DPE, his effect will resolve first, so he will get whatever card he wants on the field. Then my DPE will just pop that card. So there's no point in activating Ray at this point, which my opponent realized. He did not activate Ray. I pop the Ray, activate DPE in the graveyard, end phase. Turn 4, draw. He draws a card. My DPE comes on the field in standby in defense again because of Lightning Storm. He activates Engage, which you already know he had from the last turn. Searches for Ray, draws a card. He activates the jamming waves to target the card that he had set down to pop my DPE. So I just activate DPE, pop his back row set. So that does everything there. That was a Harpy's Feather Duster, by the way. My opponent only made the play of jamming waves to kill off my DPE because he searched for Ray. I know he searched for Ray. He wanted to go into his play. That's why he made it. he played in a way such that I was forced to pop my DPE before his play happened. Otherwise, this Ray, even if he does anything, I would just pop the card on his field. So he had a play, he had an out, he did it. Goes into Ray, battle phase, hits me in the face for 15 with Ray, quick effect, tribute, goes into Kagari, Kagari adds back the engage to his hand, and then wonks me in the face for 2k as well. Main phase 2, activate the engage again, search for a card, so now we're getting into the grindy part. When you see your opponent searching for the video anchor, you know you're in the grindy phase against Sky Strikers. He goes, tributes to links over Kagari into Shizuku, sets down the video anchor, and searches for a shark cannon. Now I was so upset at this point because shark cannon can target the DPE that I had in my graveyard to, this will not banish. Keep in mind, he has more than 3 spell cards in his graveyard. He has more than 3. So this will not banish. It will yoink my DPE and give it to him. So he's going to do precisely that. Activate the shark cannon, target DPE, and yoink my DPE in defense. Let's see what we draw into it. I had a really few outs to this board. One of my outs was maybe a Raigeki, maybe a Kaiju. But let's see what we draw into. I draw into my starter card. So I use the dasher I had in my graveyard to special out the card I drew into. My opponent activates my DPE that he yoinked to target my dropsies that I specialed on the field, pop them. Now, what does this say right here? It's still in draw phase. DPE pop means that I get the activation to activate my DPE in the graveyard. It got destroyed by a card effect. So my DPE activates in the graveyard. As I said, it is a draw phase. It is not main phase. It is not standby phase. Still draw phase. So in standby phase, now my DPE comes back on the field again. Bro, my opponent played himself. He played himself with the shark cannon. Like, of course, he had the video anchor set on the field. Maybe he thought that even if my DPE comes on the field, he'll just yoink the DPE. But we had Heartbeat's Feather Duster in our hand. Now, if the chain link goes, Heartbeat's chain link 1, he will chain link his video anchor to the Heartbeat's Feather Duster. And I will just chain link my DPE to the activation of the video anchor. So that way, my DPE pops. Sadly, he had effect failure. Can't do anything about this. So, watch the hidden effect. Effect failure negates my DPE. This is a hidden effect. If you guys don't read cards, this is considered a hidden effect, sort of. So it negates my DPE. My DPE is negated now because of effect failure. So DPE cannot pop itself, cannot pop any cards on my opponent's side. Negated. Now the video's anchor is not going to resolve. Why? It says, if you control no monsters in your main monster zone, target one face-up effect monster on the field, negate that monster's effect until the end of this turn. Then, it says then, okay? It is not and, it is then, meaning that first the condition of the negation has to go through. My DPE is already negated, so the first condition of the negation of the video's anchor is scrapped. Since the first condition is scrapped, it cannot yoink my DPE anymore because the video's anchor card is basically negated by his own monster's effect of effect failure. So again, my opponent is playing himself right now. He played himself twice. He played himself with the shark cannon. He played himself with the video anchor into effect failure play. My opponent is playing himself so far. And with this, you guys know what's about to happen. I'm going to use the Celestial in the graveyard as a pot of greed. Banish Dasher because we already used Dasher's effect. Banish Celestial. Draw 2 cards. Thankfully now, I drew into my starter card, which was the Lamseys. So now we start going into our combo. Normal Lamseys, again, we did not use our normal summon. We used the Dasher to special out the Dropsies we drew into. So we keep going into our combo. Lamseys burn for 5, special out Pansies. Prankkids place lowers the attack of the Shizuku by 500. Keep this in mind. Prankkids place is a once per turn effect, but it's a once per turn per card effect. It does not say it's a hard once per turn. This is technically considered a soft once per turn. So you guys will see what I mean by soft once per turn. So I keep going into my combo, use Doodle Doo's Tribute, get my Prankkids Plays plus Panda from my graveyard into my hand, search for Roxy's, activate the Prankkids Pranks, send the Roxy's to the graveyard, get a token, go into my Bow Wow Bark. Now this will activate the Prankkids Plays again. Why? Because it's a new Prankkids Plays. Prankkids Plays effect is a once per turn per card. So I could activate Prankkids Plays. If you're playing 3 Prankkids Plays, you could activate 3 separate, you can, but because Prankkids Plays you can only activate the field spell once per turn. So you can only do 2 of it that way. So it's going to activate again to lower my opponent's monster's attack by 500. So Shizuku goes down to 500. Special out Fancy, set my Pandemonium. So we have our whole Butler play ready and on the field. Since the Shizuku was seen destroyed by Ray, he gets Ray on the field. Ray tributes itself, gets another Shizuku on the field. Sadly, I cannot get past the Shizuku because he has so many spells in his graveyard. He has, I believe, 8 spells in his graveyard so far. So 800 attack reduction, can't push past the Shizuku with my Bow Wow Bark. So I end my turn with this, activate Pranks, recycle 3 cards, draw into a Kaiju. Really, really good card to draw into. Because if he gets a boss monster on the field, Kaiju, boom, get it over with. Now with Shizuku, he searches for the Eagle Booster. You guys already saw it, he searched for the Eagle Booster. What does Eagle Booster do? If you guys don't know, it makes 1 card on the field unaffected by card effects, and if you have 3 or more spell cards in your graveyard, it cannot be destroyed by battle either. So he searched for this because I was going to use my DPE to pop his Shizuku once the turn is flipped over anyways, and we had our Butler combo as well on our opponent's turn. That's why the Eagle Booster search. So draw phase, draws a card, I activate Bow Wow Bark, target the 2 cards I need for the Butler combo, add them to my hand. Let's see what my opponent does in response to all this. Now keep in mind, never ever keep your Butler and DPE on the field at the same time. First, pop your DPE, then go into your Butler play. Otherwise, if your opponent has Forbidden Droplet in their hand, they could just discard 2 cards, negate both those cards' effects, and you'll be left with no disruptions on the field. So never ever put Butler and DPE on the field at the same time, unless you absolutely have to. So, Afterburner. Targets DPE, I use my DPE to pop his Shizuku, and use my Pandemonium as a chain link to this. Why did I do it this way? Because I know my opponent is going to chain link the Eagle Booster to this. Watch what happens. He's going to chain the Eagle Booster to the Shizuku. So Shizuku cannot be destroyed through card effects. He needs the Shizuku on the field apparently. So it resolves. I go into my Butler combo. Butler comes on the field. DPE, I use DPE, pop the Afterburner. That's okay. DPE activates in the graveyard, and then I get all my graveyard activations of my Prankkids cards. Now, since I only had 1 Dropsies I had 2 Dropsies in my graveyard, I could not go into the 2 Dropsy special on the field. Otherwise, I would have gone 2 Dropsy special on the field. That way, it would be a guaranteed totally awesome, unless my opponent kills out one of the Dropsies that I had on the field. So I get my Roxy's, Fancies, and Lamsies on the field. He uses Shizuku, goes into Kaina, activates Kaina, target my Butler. I just use my Butler to pop it. Since he already wasted his Eagle Booster on his Shizuku, Kaina can be popped with Butler. So I just use my Butler, pop the Kaina. Kaina would negate my Butler, but we're okay with it. So he gets the Shizuku, he gets Ray on the field. Sorry, Kaina does not negate. Kaina makes it so that my Butler cannot attack him next turn. I was okay with it. He gets the Ray on the field. He normals out Ash Blossom from his hand. He was this desperate at that point. Like, the game started with me breaking completely, him drawing into cards he wanted, him going into his combo. We stalled out with just DPE, and we made such a board happen with 1 card that we drew into afterwards. So he's down to normaling out his Ash Blossom to go into some kind of play that he wanted to make. I just use my Butler, pop his field, and my opponent just outright scoops right here. He knows he's gonna die next turn. He has no more plays to make. We stalled out the game. We made it happen. My opponent did play himself twice, as I told you guys before. But anyways, that was pretty much a good game. Now, if you guys do like this kind of videos, please consider hitting the like button, subscribing to my channel for more daily prank kid video uploads, and if you guys are interested in the live part of all of this, I do live stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/jpbduel. Link along with my schedule is in the video description itself. You guys can check it out. This is JPB Duel signing out for today. See you guys in the next video. Peace!